That's not good.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, Georgia.
Hi. How are you?
Good. It's just me and John.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. A few of us so far. I'm going to give it another, few minutes, and I don't anticipate this being very long unless there's something highly controversial about the two documents. So.
Okay. It's kind of since it's not our usual meeting time, there's kind of just Monday night life a little bit happening.
Oh, okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Like
okay.
Children running around and stuff and dogs barking and.
Well, no dogs, but we do have cats. So
Yeah.
my face might not be on the whole time.
That's all right.
And I'll try to figure out how to.
And you
I'm
can
on
promise.
an iPad, so I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen with the documents.
Oh, well, I'm gonna.
And your faces.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll be the sharing person, I think.
Okay.
Everybody will be able to see it from my.
Perfect.
I believe that's how it will work. I want to give it a few minutes since, as you said, it's a weird time and people might need an extra few minutes to remember.
Okay.
Hey, Patricia, how's it going?
Hey, Robin. Good.
Good.
How are you?
Fine. Hanging in there.
Okay.
Try not to get too addicted to the news. Normally, I don't listen to it that much, but this is a little bit hard to resist. So
Yeah.
Giving everybody 2 more minutes, 5:35 or 5:36, and we'll get going. See Amy? I feel like she's a surprise guest. I didn't think she could make it. Ooh, 7 people? Looks like Rocio is not a panelist yet. Do I do that? There we go. I had the power. I didn't realize I had the power. Give it 1 more minute.
I'm still actively here, even though I'm muted and no picture. Okay.
Yeah, we see a frozen picture.
Yes, my glamour shot.
Your glamour shot.
Hi, Robin. I'm in the car, so I'm going to turn off my sound.
Okay, and I don't anticipate this being too long. So actually, it's 5:35. We'll get this going, and whoever pops on will pop on. And if they missed it, they missed it. So, we do this every year. I don't think we have anybody from the public here, but if they join us, I'll reiterate what this is. But I think you all know that once a year, there's this whole process where the community board is the beginning of the budget cycle. So each committee is required to review the district needs statement and, if needed, submit requests to the city for possible funding for things, capital and expense. So I know I sent you a few different iterations of things over the course of the month. I made some tweaks to the district needs statement a week or so ago, and cleaned up the budget document, and I added a couple of things. A couple of local arts institutions responded to my call and asked me to put on a couple of things. So that's why the last minute revision. So let's go through the budget page first. I'll share that with you, and then we'll, if you have any edits for the district needs statement, we'll get to that second. So I am looking for the budget document, and hopefully it'll pop up. Am I sharing that? No, that didn't work. Ah, that'll help. Okay. So I haven't done this in a long time. Do you guys see that? Thumbs up. All right.
I see the menu, the Finder menu.
Yeah, you need to open it up.
Oh, I did open it up. Let me close my Finder menu. Oop. Trying it again. Let me open it up first. That work?
Yeah, that I can see that.
All right, hooray. All right. So not a whole bunch of things here. I think I took off a few things that felt like the advice, the response was basically telling us, that people should go to their local elected or something. So I just removed a couple of things. The first is from the library directly. I just edited to, for purposes of, it was longer than this. But does this make sense to you? Does it read right? Do you feel that this is an appropriate capital request? Anybody against this? Nothing to discuss really here. Basically, they would love to have money. They explain to everything in our district, but knowing that there's going to be restrictions, they really felt like they wanted to focus exclusively everything on Hudson Park Library and just focus, on that. So that's why there are no current requests for the other two. And then one of the late ones was the Fire Museum. We were not sure if this was a capital or an expense. I normally would have made this an expense, but it's a high ticket, $63,000. So I figured either at executive or full board, other people could weigh in and just we can figure out where it's better to put it. But I thought this was a very reasonable request. It's a beloved institution. If you were on the call last week, or 2 weeks ago, you certainly heard a really nice presentation from them. I think having nice carpet and, for safety also and health reasons is pretty reasonable ask. Any discussion on that or, and before we go into just expense, any capital requests that you want to add to this list that there'll probably still be time if we're going to have executive discussion for this. And if for some reason you have an ad.
Not an ad, but I was curious about, and maybe it's in expenses and I didn't see it. The Judson Memorial Elevator, ADA compliance, and the museum on West 8th. The art school / museum.
Yeah, I think I removed the Judson one because of the response. I'll have to double check, but that came off. I took that off. And the drawing center was its own. I didn't have that on here originally, I'm pretty sure. I think you might be conflating it when we wrote a resolution to ask for their ask. And I just didn't add them on here because I haven't been in touch with them for a while, and I don't know if that falls under this necessarily. I will make a note of it though, and I'll reach out to them and see if I can add it, or if it makes sense to add it, or if they need me to add it.
Yeah, I was just curious. And then the other institution was the Performance Garage.
Worcester, I reached out to them. Yeah, I said,
Sorry.
hey, yeah, they were on my list of like, hey, you guys, by Friday, if you can, let me know if there's anything, and nothing. So I was in touch with them earlier in the COVID thing, and I think everybody's just trying to scramble and keep it together. So I presume they didn't reply because they just have other things to deal with at the moment. But I will see if I can find somebody at the drawing center and see if they want us to add them to this request list.
Thanks, Robin.
And now we're on to expenses, also similarly, a little bit longer, but not much. Some of these
Robin,
are.
I wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, hand, sorry, I see it, yeah.
Regarding the Judson Memorial, I thought it was already in the report you issued a while ago, and I see you've taken it off, and I followed up with Nick Gottlieb, and he said it should still be in there on the list.
I'll review the advice again, the response. It's just I mean, if the response was go to your local elected, I mean, I can keep it on there, but that's gonna be the same response. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna be helpful, but I mean, I'll check again the budget response, the response from the city. And if you want that to be the course of action, that we just keep it on there despite the response saying we're not gonna give you funding, I'm happy to do that. But is that what you're saying you'd like to do? Okay.
Yeah, if you could keep it on there.
Okay, I will reinstate.
I'm not sure how it's going to be prioritized later on.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is, do we know that they still have not gotten the elevator? Has that? I'm not even sure if they might have gotten it at this point. Does anybody know?
I don't know, but I feel like I was there for something in the before time of this year. And there wasn't an elevator. So,
okay,
but
so
I don't know.
I'll reinstate it. And again, this is going to be discussed again at executive and then at full board. So, other people might
follow up with.
It sounds like you have an in there. I mean, it would be quicker because I don't have an in there right now. So if you can find out, but I will in the meantime put it in.
Okay, I'll follow up.
So I don't forget.
Before exec. And then the other one, I think you made in your notes that the Jackie Robinson Museum it's slated to open in 2021, but they don't need anything, right? Because they
were on my list. I asked them if they needed anything. They did not reply. They were invited to the museum discussion. They were not able to make it. So they sound like they have their hands full.
Okay.
Also.
That was all I wanted to say.
Yeah. They were. I reached out to them. I'm close acquaintance wise with Evo and I think it's Latanya. So, yeah, they don't seem to need anything, or at least at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on to expense, and this is a typical one. I just feel like this needs to always be stated. So I just keep the arts education thing in there. So if you have any thoughts on that. As far as the expense fund, I mean, I feel like we want to maintain the expense funding for all the CB2 libraries. I mean, given what's going, I don't know if we want to completely have it removed just to go to Hudson River Park. I feel like, anything that can be maintained for those libraries makes sense, but I don't know if you feel anything differently. Okay, and then I also maintain the arts funding for these other centers in our neighborhood. That's been on there before. Also kind of just a general placeholder reminder to the government, city government.
Oh,
Yep.
I just want to say that Greenwich House has really sort of stepped up, at least for where families are concerned, families with children, school-age children, because they offered one of the only in-person summer programs this year. And they're opened their space for families who are in blended learning the days that the kids are not in the school building. Greenwich House, so they are offering a full week in-person program for children.
Oh, okay.
So they've really made sort of an extra commitment to the neighborhood during this time when it's, I think, you know, families with children or school-age children are really struggling to find not only sort of academic help, but homework help and just general care. So I have friends who have made use of the program and it's really amazing. And their COVID protocol is also really strong.
So where are they doing this indoors or on their roof?
It's inside and they do go outside as well, but they have a whole, you know, their protocol for temperature checks and contact tracing. And this summer there was a child who tested positive. They were able to contact trace. They closed that classroom because all the kids were in a pod together and they had this 2-day thing and they turned around and it was fine. So yeah, everyone who's gone through it has only good things to say. So
yay, some positive, something's going right. Okay, and then the last expense, also a last minute, because I put out a very wide call to our museums and theaters. Ars Nova has this ticket subsidy program. And again, what they submitted to me was far longer, but this was sort of the meat and potatoes. They want to be able to offer a very subsidized ticket price going forward, and they, you know, obviously they'd like some support to be able to do this. So does anybody have any questions or concerns about this? Or and then lastly, I know we talked about Judson, which Patricia's going to do a quick investigation about. I will contact the Drawing Center. Other than that, is there anything at this time you feel we need to add to either capital or expense that is not here? Again, we will have a little bit of time to fix this. This is not set in stone as of tonight.
Is the Drawing Center the same as the Pink Art School on West 8th?
Yeah, I think it's Pink. Yeah, and not the Drawing Center. Sorry, that's the drawings.
The Drawing Center is in Soho, right?
Yeah. You meant the art school. Sorry,
yes.
The studio school.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I wrote. Did you say Drawing Center or did I say Drawing Center?
No, you said Drawing Center.
I said, okay, so it's the studio school.
Yes.
That's what yeah, and I knew what you meant, but I wrote Drawing Center down. So that's who I'm going to check with about they wanted to fix the windows in that room, right? Yeah. Thanks for the correction.
Robin, I just got a text back from Nick. He says they never got the elevator. They're in the middle of a CAP campaign, so I think it should still remain on the list.
Okay, I'll put it back.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking on that. That was nice, quick turnaround. All right. So I think that's it on this. I'm going to close this document. I am now going to share the district needs statement.
I read it. I liked what you had to say. I didn't see any.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a longer. It's not long, but it's a little harder to read than the budget stuff. So, thank you for taking a look at it. I know it was sort of new language, so I'm glad to have extra eyes on it. Is this it? I think it's a Word doc. Okay. Are you guys seeing that or?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So I don't know how much everybody else has gotten to look at it. But yeah, I pretty much, the only thing I really peppered bits and pieces through was COVID. I feel like, not mentioning that is strange. So
Robin said, Robin, I'm sorry. Amy says she can't unmute herself, but she also likes your district needs statement as well.
Oh, great. I guess the other thing is, the only thing I would ask is if you notice before this goes final for the year, our list of little organizations and various institutions, maybe if I missed anything, let me know. I try to keep that up to date.
Robin, I can't find the hand thing. And this is something I can volunteer to do, but I think there's such a density of arts organizations in the neighborhood, and it would be nice to have some kind of visual. So maybe I could make a simple Google map that shows, I don't know if there
like an
ever
infographic,
maps.
You mean like an infographic?
Just a screenshot of a Google map showing all of the institutions you've listed in this document, just to really drive home the fact how rich and dense the arts ecosystem is in the neighborhood.
That would be great if you could do that. And I think I know what you mean, but since you definitely know what you mean, if you could do it, and then, I'm happy to insert it. It should be pretty easy to do. And
okay, it'll just be a JPEG that you can stick in there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, when should I have that to you?
I mean, we're not having executive till what's like 2 weeks, so
okay.
That's what the 20th. So I just need it by the day of the 20th. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Bob likes to have stuff obviously before then. So let's say Thursday, the Thursday prior, whatever that is. The 19th, 18th, like the 15th or something.
Okay, the 15th. Okay.
But that's a good idea. And that is pretty much it, unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to add about this document, or just, if you want to move on to anything else. I apologize for the, our day has been not standard during this whole time, partly because of Zoom, or largely because of Zoom. I think we only have this one account, and it's not flexible enough to have 2 meetings going at once. And then Tuesday, I've been moved to both SLA meetings, so it's hard for me to have a meeting now on Tuesdays until something changes. So I'm not sure what's happening. But as soon as I know that we need to have a meeting, I will let you know in advance what the date is. It's the best I could do right now until, yeah. Somebody wanted to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say you went mute for a second.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I'm going to give you as much notice as I can, and try to keep it as close to our normal day and time as possible. And certainly when we have joint meetings, sometimes we end up going on the day of we're sort of the wandering committee, like nomadic a little bit at the moment. Hopefully that'll get a little more standard. Maybe I'll figure out with Carter if we can have a different night that's standard. But there's so many committees, and since everybody can't meet, people can't meet at the same time, it's a challenge. But maybe Gail will give us 2 accounts at some point. Who knows?
Does it have to be on the CB2's account so that it makes a recording that goes that's accessible, or could you use this?
I think it's as much I think it has to be on a city, as it is. This is not normal to have public meetings electronically, so I think it has to be a city supported account.
Okay.
Of some kind. That's besides the recording aspect, I think. Because normally, when we were live, we weren't being recorded, but it was a city sanctioned meeting, and this is a city sanctioned meeting that it has to be on, I think, just a Gail's account,
Okay.
Borough President's account.
Yeah.
Robin,
yeah.
This is sort of unrelated to the 2 documents, but I wanted to say that the museum event was really fantastic.
Good.
And I'm hoping there might be a part 2 so we can get to hear from other museums that couldn't speak that night. And I'm also curious if other types of institutions could do similar things, like the libraries in our district have the grab and go. So it would be nice to hear from them how things are going with that program. And yeah, I just think it was just so amazing to learn like what the museums, like their protocol and process, their systems from March till now and how they're going to move forward. You know, a lot of these conversations are internal, and so it's nice that they were able to share that with a really large public, and it would be useful to have as many organizations in our district use this Zoom platform for that purpose.
To have a forum, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, just about like how the virus impacted them March through September, and how it's sort of constrained, or how it's constraining them moving forward, or maybe presenting different sets of opportunities. Because we usually just do like one museum comes to the meeting or one institution comes to the meeting. It was nice to have a panel or roster of like institutions presenting, so you could really do a compare contrast kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we thankfully had a lot of time to put that together. You know, we had like 2 months lead time on that, so the challenges that was part of the reason we couldn't get all the museums coming down, because they weren't all available. So we can try it again. I'll bring up the museums.
Yeah,
that's a reopening topic. So that would be another Valerie Robin combo. The libraries are technically, I guess, open already. I asked her if she thinks she's part of that or not, and I think we only have the 3 libraries, right? It's Mulberry, Hudson, and Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay.
The meeting was indeed interesting, but I thought that they could have presented more efficiently.
In what way?
Oh, it took them so long to say not too much.
Well, we told them, we gave them parameters, but you know, we didn't want to. We told them 3 to 5. Well, we gave Whitney the most time, and they were our first anchor. They were sort of our anchor presenter, and then we suggested about 5 minutes to the others, and we thought that would seem like too much to them, but I guess they really felt like this was their chance to express themselves. So I hear you, but I think they all needed to feel like they were being heard. So but I noted the comment, and if we do it again with Valerie, I will let her know that if there's some way to really make a point to be terse while still getting your points across.
It would have left time for a little bit of interaction and follow-up, but I just found myself getting...
Yeah, I mean, the discussion, I think, would have been harder to do that, but I think maybe the beginning factual opening information could have probably been edited down a little bit. I agree.
Just more efficient.
Yeah, well, it was the first time we did something like that, so we'll be more thoughtful about really making sure people adhere to that. We were being a little loose with it.
Yeah.
And now
Robin, but it was pretty informative. I enjoyed it a lot, I must say.
Oh, good. Yeah, so anyway, we'll take that into account. There's probably ways they could have said some of the same things early on in the reopening piece, a little bit more efficiently. So, okay, great. So I think I got everything. We're looking to...
Robin, can I... Yeah. I thought one of the other things that someone suggested for the museum is maybe sending information, timely information that we can post on our CB2 website. Because there were things that were happening at some museums that we didn't know about. I know that the Whitney comes to our public meetings and they say stuff at the beginning.
Do you mean timely info like programming or safety protocols, or
like programming?
Yeah,
that's ongoing with the museum.
Well, I think so. I'll bring that up to. That's a little bit of a gray area because we're not we're not supposed to market things. I do know that the site posts certain things. Usually it's free events or, you know, it's like Lenox Hill safety protocol stuff. So that's the, you know, we don't want to start the museums thinking that, you know, even if the tickets are inexpensive or by donation only, I think that's not something we would put up on our site.
Okay.
They're welcome to come and talk to us about it in the 2-minute public session, but I think there's a little bit of a gray area about that.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
So, but I wrote it down. I'll see. I think Bob's on top of that kind of stuff as far as knowing what's happening and what's appropriate to post, but I'll ask him if he has any direction on that.
I mean, going off Patricia's comment, I mean, you know, I used to take my kids to the fire museum. Now that they're not of that age, I don't anymore. And so I've kind of forgotten that they're part of the neighborhood. And there's that one woman, and I can't remember the name of her organization, but it's a small space, and I'd never heard of this space before. And if there was a way to encourage the arts organizations in the same way that the Whitney makes it part of their process to come to us on a really regular basis.
Yeah, no, that's been
especially in this time. I think the more they self-promote, it's better. And I know you do that, but just to really kind of, I don't know, really nudge them a bit more.
Yeah, I think the challenges are. You're talking about talking for 2 minutes at public session to tell us about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whenever it's possible, we try to let people know there is probably a little bit of a disconnect. I think there are probably some small organizations that don't even know we exist or what a community board is. You know, if you happen to know who those people, at least what those organizations are, email me and I will find people there. It's an ongoing struggle a little bit to find that connection. But I so noted, I get it. You know, always encourage, even the people who have already presented to us could continue. They know that we're here, they can come. And, you know, it's, there's only so much, there's only so many groups I can reach out to proactively to say, come to us, come to us, come to us. After a while, it's sort of like, they get it and they know we're here. But I will keep it in mind, and, you know, always toot that horn that they are welcome to use us as an opportunity to promote their events and full board. And, you know, it should be a little easier now if they don't have to go anyplace, but I think probably up to this point, a lot of them were dealing with other issues. Maybe now things have smoothed out. They have time to talk about the programs because now they have them. So, so I wrote that, I made a note of that. And is there anything else that you wanted to, I guess we're done with this. Let me take this down. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss? There's no meeting at this point for November unless somebody comes to me for some reason. I don't know if we're partnering on anything else yet. But again, I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. I
don't have anything to add to this, but, you know, I've been keeping one eye on on the art house film houses thing. Could we talk a little bit about that now, or should we?
Yeah, I reached out to both the district manager and the small business economic development, and I didn't get much of a response. I think it would be helpful if you happen to have any connections there that you know about.
I don't have any clients or anything. I've just been watching it because I've been watching the indie film sector more because I don't have any theater work. You know, I don't have much theater work to do. I mean, I have a couple of clients, but
I mean, well, I'll do the best I can to, I mean, if I don't know anybody, I'll just be emailing whatever their generic.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I'm just thinking out loud about this. What it is we're in this funny situation that it's very important for, well, no, since the theaters are closed, everybody's got to resort to the platforms now. And the platforms means like Amazon and you know, the video on demand platforms. And it's very important for them to have an opening in New York if if possible, because this is where the epicenter of the respected critical voices is. Now, we haven't had an enormous movement into four-walling in these art houses, but the Quad was doing it. And I feel that even though there's only a few of those art houses here, they're all in our district. And if they all die off at once, I don't know what the industry is going to do, because
Well,
when they come back, they're not going to have that.
We might need to, I feel like there's the trigger of when movie houses are actually, have they been, I don't think they're allowed to open yet, or there's a lot of pushback about.
No, and Regal closed its whole thing today.
So
that's what's got me scared.
Yeah, I
so
kind of feel
like
like
an avalanche happening.
There isn't a whole lot I feel like we can do to have any effect right now until we know what the trigger is. Like the safety protocol, same thing. I feel like with the museums reopening, it's a good trigger. In which case that would seem like an appropriate time to really check, reach out to them and say, we'd love for you to come in to explain to us how you plan to manage all the safety protocols, what's the programming going to be, all the same, similar to the museums. As of now, while I understand it's frustrating and kind of heartbreaking, I don't think that the community board I feel like it's just another way for them to maybe talk about stuff, but I'm not sure, if it's going to be helpful to them right at this time. And the same thing with the small theaters. Yeah. I want to have a small theater version too, but until there's a phase 4 green light for them to open, it doesn't seem like it's not going to be as helpful now until then, I think.
Yeah. It's like a feeling of powerlessness, because we're in a position of stewardship even for stuff we're not responsible for.
Yeah.
That we don't have any power to help, yet we could stand to lose so much so fast. True.
It's noted, like I said, district manager's aware. I sent it to him, and our small business committee, I sent it to them, asking if they're, I can poke them again and say, well, maybe when there's a reopening announced for the movies, I will ask them again, like, hey, should we be, I think that's probably when they'll perk up and say, okay, let's have a meeting. Yeah. It's I've noted it, and
they fall into that funny crack which resembles stuff like there are two privately owned off-Broadway theaters, one in the West Village, one in the East Village, and one is on McDougal Street, and the other one is on St. Mark's and First Avenue, and they're not nonprofits, so they can't take advantage of so much support from the DCA, and these people are holding them up, as by a wing and a prayer. And if we would lose them, we'd all be really sorry, and it would be a big loss. But we have very little to do to help them too.
That's right. Yeah, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it's on the list, and it's on people's minds. It probably will require some more poking on my part when there's a trigger of some kind, since there's so many other things that need attention. But if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Is that how it works? Second. I will be in touch if I have any information about our next meeting, but as of now, nothing in November or December. So I thank everybody for your flexibility for meeting it on a Monday at 5:30 instead of Tuesday at 6:30. Hopefully we'll have some more stability soon. So
thank you, Robin.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks for all your great comments. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Robin.